It's very easy, watching the automotive world from outside, to criticise automakers who don't apparently seem to be making any big changes when it comes to dumping the pump. Behind the scenes, however, some of the companies that we all too easily criticise are companies that are actually doing quite a lot of work to change the way they work in the future. One such company is Volvo, a company which for a while has been promising a lot, but not delivering all that much. Today, it made the first step towards changing that with the reveal of its first production electric car, the Volvo XC40 Recharge. And I'm here to tell you all of the important things you need to know about it, plus some of the other things Volvo says it's going to be doing to make good on its promises of reducing the lifetime carbon dioxide emissions of its vehicles by 40% in the next 5 years, with the same kind of serious that it used to use to dramatically reduce road deaths in Sweden over the last 50 years. Let's start with the car. Built on the same platform as the rest of the XC40 family, that's Volvo's compact modular platform, the luxury compact crossover doesn't look all that different to its internal combustion engine siblings. Yes, there are a few minor tweaks in the design department, such as an enclosed front grille, but everything else is pretty similar. Underneath, the XC40 P8 all-wheel drive Recharge, to give it its full name, uses the same battery pack and drivetrain layout as the Polestar 2 performance SUV. Essentially, they are the same basic car. This means that you'll get a 78 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack operating at 400 volts with a peak power output of 320 kilowatts. At the wheels, there are a pair of motors, one for each axle, producing 150 kilowatts each for what Volvo says is a combined total power output of 408 horsepower at 660 newton meters of torque. These figures, for those interested, match those precisely for the Polestar 2. The 0 to 100 km per hour dash takes place in 4.9 seconds, just like the Polestar 2, and surprise, surprise, recharging capabilities are the same as well. For those unfamiliar with what they are, Volvo claims a 40-minute recharge to 80% at a CCS quick charging station and 7.5 hours at home to full from a domestic charging station. And in case you were wondering, no, there's no next generation super fast CCS charging system like you'll find on some of the new German-made electric cars coming to market. On the WLTP test cycle, a test cycle that's closer to real world than other test cycles out there but is still a little overly optimistic, Volvo is quoting a 400 kilometre range. Real world, I'm going to guess, will be somewhere closer to 350 kilometres, but since all cars are being sold in Europe with the WLTP test cycle figures, those are what we should at least use as a yardarm, with the caveat of knowing that it may be less in the real world. The electric XC40 gains extra luggage capabilities over the internal combustion engine XC40 with a small frunk up front that seems to be about the same size as the one in the Tesla Model 3. And curb weight, if you were wondering, is just under 2,200 kilograms, a little under 500 kilos heavier than the petrol variant. Internally, the XC40 Recharge does get some new features not found in other Volvos yet, including an Android-powered navigation and infotainment system. And note, I'm talking here about Android, not Android Auto. I'm talking a full Android operating system within the car, which means that you'll get Google Assistant, Google Maps, and access to the Google Play Store in your car without needing to hook up a mobile phone. Volvo says the XC40 Recharge will also benefit from the over-the-air software updates and get a new next-generation ADAS pilot assist suite of semi-autonomous driver assistance features powered by Zanuti software and a suite of cameras, ultrasonic sensors, and radar. In other words, it is eventually going to be able to drive itself when those software updates happen. Volvo says you'll get a choice of 8 different colours to pick from with the XC40 Recharge, all with contrasting black roofs as standard. Your wheel choices will either be 19 or 20-inch rims. As for when to expect it, Volvo hasn't officially released final pricing or rollout, but says it will be on sale in late 2020 and will be priced at under $50,000 in the US. That will likely put it in direct competition with the market that the Tesla Model Y will sit in, which could make it very interesting indeed. But what's perhaps the most intriguing part of the XC40's Recharge's elevator pitch isn't the tech, but the promise Volvo made today to give you free electricity to power your car for the first year of ownership. Rather than make a deal with a charging provider or an energy company and then lock you in, Volvo is going to use its onboard telematics to keep track of how much energy you use during the first year of ownership. And at the end of that first year, it'll give you a cashback equivalent to the cost of the electricity you've used. I'm assuming it will calculate it using a flat rate. It's a smart, clever move that means customers will be able to charge wherever and whenever they want, but still know that the cost of charging will be free for the first year of ownership. With the XC40 Recharge covered, let's look at some of the commitments Volvo also made during the event that look to wider goals. Overall, Volvo says it's going to ensure that every single Volvo built in 2025 has a 40% lower carbon dioxide footprint over its lifetime than a Volvo built today. Some of that will come from the transition to electric powertrains as a brand. Volvo actually said it's going to be working with its parent company Geely to put its internal combustion engine models in a new sub-brand. But some of the changes will come from Volvo's production and supply chains. By 2025, Volvo says all of its production facilities will be completely carbon neutral, and it's been busy working with its suppliers to secure zero carbon futures for its entire production and sourcing process. Interestingly too, it's been pushing recycling and ethical sourcing, and says it's already working hard with its suppliers to ensure that its batteries used ethically sourced materials from day one. So far, it says one of its suppliers now uses cobalt recycled from consumer batteries to reduce its reliance on the cobalt mining chain, and, I should throw in here, the XC40 Recharge will actually have two different battery pack suppliers, LG Chem and CATL, to ensure that Volvo won't be caught up in some of the supply chain problems for lithium-ion batteries that other automakers have suffered in recent years. For its electric lineup, Volvo says it will introduce one new electric model every year from now on, until I presume all of its cars are electric, and then additionally says it will expand its plug-in hybrid offerings to ensure every model has a plug-in hybrid variant. Its goal? To have a simple conversation with customers at dealerships and online in the future that equates to asking if they want to cord or not cord, which will translate to fully electric or not plug-in hybrid. Even if a customer opts to go for a plug-in hybrid rather than fully electric, Volvo says they'll still get the same free electricity for a year deal, which it hopes will encourage drivers to plug in as much as possible and, I assume, realise that they don't need an engine in their next car. Currently, about 40% of total distances travelled by Volvo's plug-in hybrid customers are in fully electric, or as Volvo calls it, pure mode. It also said that it's changing the way its plug-in vehicles are built and ordered, committing to ensuring that there's no longer a build-to-order mentality for plug-in cars. Instead, it says it will ensure it has enough plug-in models in stock, that buying a plug-in car doesn't mean that the customer has to wait longer to drive it home than they would for an internal combustion engine model. By the way, in Europe, it's fairly common for dealerships to give test drives to customers in demo cars, but then for the customer to actually order their car to be delivered based on their preferences rather than drive home the car they've just test driven in the showroom. So there it is. Volvo might not be anywhere near as big as some of its rivals in the automotive marketplace, and it's far bigger in Europe than it is in other markets like the US. But if it can deliver on its promises to bring a fully electric XC40 to market for under $50,000, and it can push forward all of the changes it's laid out, it could be making for a very interesting future for the brand. Having driven its engineering prototype C30 electric cars nearly a decade ago now in the Arctic Circle, I can certainly testify the company already has the skills it needs to completely transform itself into an electric company. It's made a name for itself as a safe brand to this point, and I think it's hoping that its future will be safety and electric hand in hand. But will it manage it? Let me know below. That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to help us make more videos like this, please do like, comment and subscribe. Send us a couple of dollars our way through Patreon every month. You can feed our coffee habit with Ko-fi or visit our swag store. And while I'm at it, don't forget to check out both our 2019 Nightmare on Oil Street, behind me, and 2020 No Tricks or Treat designs for Halloween. You could get a t-shirt just like this one. I'll be back soon with more content for you all to enjoy, but until then, behave yourselves and keep evolving.